And welcome to the Hot Rod Hangout Podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Ashley.
And tonight we got a special guest, Mr. Chance with the Grim Reaper Speed Shop. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just hanging out. Y'all?
Oh, just living a dream, man.
Come on.
Trying to get this rain to stop so I can get some work done on the caddy. But
there you go.
It's
been hot here.
Oh, yeah.
It usually rains every weekend when I'm off work, you know.
Well, that's when it's been raining like 5:30. Mm-hmm. So right about the time I'm getting home and get changed, you get supper, and you know I ain't got that big fancy garage, so we're still in a carport. So it's like I gotta get wet to get out there, and then if it rains, now you're laying in a puddle trying to do anything underneath the car, and you know. But
I love it.
You got to deal with your bullshit because we get to cruise all year round. You know, we ain't got that white stuff that falls up there.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been there, done that, I'll tell you. Laid on the gravels, worked on them. I mean, my first 79 Camaro had a LS1, 76 millimeter turbo, stock wadded in. I built it in a carport with gravel.
Hell yeah, man.
You know. But,
well, what originally got you into cars?
So, I guess my dad, I've always been around things. I remember when I was a young kid, my dad bought a 63 Nova Super Sport from California off of eBay, actually. And, you know, I remember he was fussing about it costing $1,000 to ship it from California to Tennessee. And, I mean, now you couldn't touch it for that.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like I said, I was probably 10, 11. But, like I said, as soon as they unloaded that car, I mean, it was black, beautiful car, and two-door. And Dad said, hop in it and drive it. And, you know, we lived kind of on a, I guess, family farm, so to speak, road. So I remember I hopped in that car. I was the first one to drive that daggum car from California. And, you know, throughout the years, Dad, and he ended up putting an L79 327 in it, you know, redoing the car basically. Had a 350 turbo in it. And I guess I remember out there as a kid, you know, I'd be holding the light, you know, watching my dad work, and I'd be holding the light where I could see, and I'd end up getting cussed because he couldn't see.
Yep.
So I definitely, that kind of got me into cars, and, you know, which he liked restored cars. I like rusty. I like patina. I like, you know, something different. You know, don't get me wrong. I respect the hell out of these cars that's restored due to the fact that I know how much work it takes. You know, I respect them. But I like the rusty stuff. You know, I like my cars. I drive them any day, every day. I'll park them right in the middle of Walmart. I don't care who door dings them. I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, I let kids play with my stuff. You know, that's what I built it for. I'm trying to, you know, teach the next generation of hot rodders, or, you know, these young kids, they can build cool shit with their hands. You know, you don't have to have a college degree to make it. You know, I'm a high school dropout, and I'm out here building frames.
Hell yeah, man. Know? Yeah, that's, so a little background I know we don't have, or we didn't really go over, but Ashley's 54 Michelangelo, because it looks like a turtle car. It's original paint. So it's got that patina, a little bit of rust, that vibe. And then the caddy, I like my stuff driver quality. So the 54 is more kind of what we usually do. But I went on a awesome road trip with one of our show supporters and another podcast down to West Coast Customs Nationals in California. And we decided to do a build-off. And I was like, well, if I'm going to drive from Florida to California, I want fuel injection. I want a little bit more comfort. I want, you know, so I've always said the Caddy was kind of the end goal car. So I picked me up one, and we're going to do some shiny paint on it. It'll be the first thing that I ever, like, actually wanted shiny paint on. So it's a little weird. But I love the survivor type cars, or kind of what, you know, the cars that, like you said, you could throw a youngin in there, let him hit switches, fire it up, you know, and show them that, you know, you can have nice cars that don't have to be so nice that you got to put up a rope and keep sticky hands off of it and stuff like that.
Exactly. I 100% agree. I love, now that is some cars. So if I had to restore, you know, a restored car, it'd be a Continental. You know, I built a bag 79.
We got to end this, man. I can't be having a Lincoln. No.
Yeah. No, I love 60s Continental. They're pimping cars, and I love like the big body Cadillacs, you know, the big wings. I've got a good friend. He's got a 59 Cadillac Britz convertible. I mean, it is beautiful, red on white. I mean, it is a pimping car. I mean, you look way too good riding that baby down the road.
No, we got to give Lincoln a little bit of shit because actually Psycho Lincoln, Psycho Fab, he's the one that's painting my Cadillac. And
okay, I got you.
And he has a 62 Lincoln Continental that is, well, he's a painter by trade. So his car is his billboard. So it's got lowrider graphics, flames, everything you could possibly do to it. So, and I actually don't know what he's doing on the roof. I told him, I said, hey, come up with the design. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know what it's going to be. Tell me how much it's going to cost, and I'll tell you if you need to back it off a little bit so I can afford it or go for it. So,
yeah, when they do the lace roof, kind of like the old school lowrider vibes on the roof. I love that. I do.
He's kind of sent me a couple ideas. Lace. I don't know if you're familiar with what they call seaweed flames. They're like real thin flames. Or like a serape blanket.
Yeah.
But like candy, heavy metal flake, just as wild as it can get, because it's going to represent him at the West Coast show. And he's trying to be able to cruise out with us, so that should be a good time.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I like that kind of look. Like I said, I've got a good buddy. He's got a bag 53 Chevrolet.
Okay.
It's Bel Air car, and it's hot rod black, but it's got like a lime green candy lace metal flake on the roof, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The wheels match it, so
that's sweet. Cool. Yeah, Ashley had posted her 54 for sale just to see if there was any bites or whatever, and she got 2 or 3 pictures of previous owners when the car still had white walls and it had like teal rims, and she's a big teal fan. So she's like, oh, this is what I want. I got to do this to the car now. And I'm like, are you sure that's even the same car? And we look, and I'm like, yep, it's got the rust on the door right there, the fenders. Oh, yep, that's it. That's the car.
Changed since 2018.
It is still the same amount of rust.
I love it. Now, is the rust bad where y'all are at, or?
Yes and no. It depends. If you're anywhere near the coast, the salt water messes with stuff sometimes, and that car parks on the grass, which I've been told rots them. But like I said, that car is the same rust as when we picked it up, 3 years ago now?
2 years ago.
And the only real bad spot, I mean, the doors on the bottom got a little bit of rust through and stuff, but the only real bad spot's the trunk. And it's not bad enough that I won't throw merch or a crate for tools or whatever if we're taking it somewhere, and we just drive the fuck out of it, and we'll get there eventually. Yeah. It still has an inline 6-cylinder and a 5-speed. She is now getting the motor that was planned for another project. I rebuilt a small block and put a big mother thumper cam in it for another build, and that's ending up in her car now, so she can get an automatic and be more comfortable driving it.
You gonna put an overdrive in it?
Probably just a turbo 350 for right now, because we'll have the Caddy. So the Caddy's got a 4.8 and a 4L60, so I'll be able to hop up on the interstate in it. I don't really. But
Dad, he was real old school. I mean, he'd have fist fought you right here in the backyard if you'd have said an LS better than a small block Chevrolet. You'd have been in the damnedest fist fight you've ever seen out there.
Well, but
the
way I say it is, I agree that certain cars don't belong with an LS, and we're gonna argue on this because I know you put LSs in cars that I don't think should have LSs, but
I do.
But I feel like if it's an open motor, you should put a small block Chevy. One, the distributor's in the right spot. It's a pretty motor. No one can argue that an LS motor is ugly. But also, I can't argue that an LS motor is reliable and makes a shit ton of power for not a whole lot of money.
Yeah, now what I did to make mine look a little different. So I done the 2-piece Holley valve covers. Where the coils go inside. Well, I end up, that was a Facebook Marketplace, find a guy. He was putting them in a 65 C10. They hit the firewall. He got mad, sold them like a quarter of the price they are because they're higher than crap. And but they ended up not working because my turbo headers. So I ended up putting my cool packs underneath the cab. But on the twin turbo truck, I flipped the intake backwards, so the throttle body's towards the cab. I done a 180-degree pipe that comes out. I used Lamborghini exhaust tips and split it into two. So my intercooler pipe or intake pipes split into two and then split back into one and go in the intake or the intercooler. Yeah. So I wanted to make it different. I like an LS because, I can get in it, start it, and go anywhere.
Right, and I get that. And that's you're not going to hear an argument from that because her car originally, when that motor was planned for something different, which is now back burner or a never project, her car would 100% have ended up with an LS and a 4L60. AC, make it nice, make it a date night cruiser, yada, yada, yada. Well, then the Cadillac came, and now we don't necessarily have to have her car as the date night car. Because really, it is her car. I drive it mostly because it has a 5-speed and she's not that confident. But the car, I tried my hardest. It was weird. I tried my hardest not to make that the car that represented the podcast because it was never supposed to be a car that hung around. But now it's won stuff. Now it's been places where we are and it's represented us. So now it's like, when she put it up for sale, I had people reach out like, hey, I should buy that. And when you get big, I'll have something. And I'm like, we're not going to get big, dude. We're still just I'm still working out of a dirt floor shop. We're good, bud. But
it's crazy is everybody starts somewhere. I've worked on lots of them on the gravel. Mm-hmm. Now I got concrete, so I feel like I'm shitting in high cost. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's a totally different world. But I've done the dirt floor motor swap. I've pulled motors out of using tree limbs. I've done that crap. I've done it, and I'm real bad. How I get for example, all my LS motors, right, and my 8.8. I buy junk cars. I'll buy wrecked. The motor that's in the rat rod, it come out of a Tahoe that was flipped. It was an 04 Tahoe that was flipped. Well, it run and drove fine. So I ended up making it a convertible. I cut the top off. And I hooked the daggum strap to the sunroof and hooked it to a limb and drove real fast forward. Jerked the top off. Hit me in the head, but I had safety glass on, so I was all right. But anyhow.
Safety squints?
Yeah, exactly. So, and then what I'll end up doing is I'll part them out. I'll sell the rear ends, the transmissions, and I'll get my money back. So basically I get a free motor.
Yeah. But
I'm bad. I've got a backhoe. Well, I've got access to a backhoe. My neighbor's got one. I'll go get it, and I'm bad to flip vehicles over and cut the rear end out from under them. Way easier than crawling under.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I live in this nice neighborhood, and I'm just the white trash of the neighborhood. They love it. I've got the backhoe driving up down the road. I'm flipping cars. I'm hitting trees in my yard. You
got to do what you got to do, though.
I'm sure you see my video. I bought a Blazer. And it was for scientific purposes only, I ghetto fogged with nitrous. I took a hole saw right in the intake. I put a car battery on the gas pedal, held that baby wide open, and I got outside and I opened that nitrous bottle. By God, hey, it backfired through the damn throttle body, warped the piss out of the throttle body. It didn't kill that 043, though. She was still going strong. Well, then, after that, I put my buddy in it, buckled him in. And then I got the backhoe, and I said, we're going to test it. And I flipped him over with the backhoe. Well, it survived that, okay? And I flipped it right back over and drove it again. Well, I've got some woods behind my house, so I was out there playing with my son. He was on his four-wheeler. I was, bulldozing trees or whatever with this old piece of shit Blazer. It's flipped, I've got my daggum scientist goggles on, keep glass out of my eyes because windshield and everything's folded. Well, then I get it hung on a log. So I'm like, I'm going to get it off. I've got her to the floor on the chip, and I drop her down in gear, and I hear, boop. It does like that. It's still sitting there idling. Here comes my little boy. It's a fire. It's a fire. Well, make a long story short, the transmission blew up, caught the fluid afire. I had to call the fire department and everything to my house to put this Blazer afire. It was really blazing in my backyard out here. And, the whole neighborhood was driving by to see what tells a fire. It was just, they love it. I'm the nuisance of the neighborhood for sure.
Hey, somebody's got to do it. It's a tough job. Yeah. But somebody's got to do it.
It might as well be me. I agree, 100%.
So, out of all the cars you've had, or opportunities to buy. Is there one that got away?
Ooh. So, I mean, you've probably seen my Continental. I mean, I bagged it. Detroit Mob Steels. I mean, it was a beautiful, a survivor car. I mean, the plush interior was not, the 8-track still worked. And, I mean, me and my wife, we would drive it, baby. We'd go to Knoxville. I'd wear my suit and tie. Boy, I'd look good. And we'd take that Continental all the way to Knoxville. So about an hour and 20-minute drive. It was like a battleship down the interstate just floating. But I probably the Continental, honestly. I wish I'd have never sold it. I mean, granted, did I make good money on it? Yes. But it's like, damn, I'll never have a car probably that level of nice again.
You get it if you want it, man.
Here's my problem is I'm impatient. So
no.
I'm bad. As you can see, I've got a bagged square body service bed right here. I've parallel 4-link, Watts link, and I worked on it hard for a week. Now I'm burnt out on it, so it's just sitting there. I mean, all I got to do is hook the brake lines up and build shock brackets and bleed the brakes, and it's going to drive. But I'm too lazy to do it now. I mean, I've got my 39 Plymouth. I worked hard on it. I built my frame in probably 3 days, made it a roller in about 3 days. I worked hard on it. I got my motor built. I like to drink daggum twisted teas and build motors. You know what I'm saying? Have I messed up, put them together, and forgot the push rods? I have. But part of it.
It's all good. You can go back. It's nothing that can't be fixed.
Yeah, that's what's good about LS. They got stretch head bolts. So once they're torqued, they're no longer no good, and they're $50 a set. So
yeah.
Did it cost me a $100 mistake? Yeah, it did. But, I ain't going to do it again. I checked that to make sure.
It's lessons. There's no such thing as a loss. It's just lessons.
Exactly.
And sometimes those lessons are expensive.
No doubt. But, I'm bad to get impatient. Like, the truck is the first thing I've ever built, like frame. I mean, I started with a cab.
Yeah.
And I built frame. I built, everything, every piece of it. And, granted, I did buy Village Customs, front air ride set up. I triangle 4-link the rear. I cut all the brackets off and redone all that and stuff. But, I mean, it took me about 2 years to build that. And it's 1,000 wonders. I didn't sell it in there. Granted, I had got mad at it and posted it about 45 times. But then people show interest in it, and I'm like, I won't tell you, I ain't selling it.
She had a gentleman come look at the 54, and I told her, I said, he's on his way. I said, have you accepted this car might leave today? And she said, yeah, I'm good. And I'm like, okay. And he come and he apparently thought the car was supposed to be like pristine for that money, and I'm like, no, man, like it's got rust. She posted pictures on Facebook Marketplace that I wish people would post.
Yeah.
Every hole, every spot, every bad, every whatever, here's a picture of it. This is what you're coming to look at. You don't even really have to come look at the car. You know exactly what it's going to look like. She missed one picture of the trunk. Oh, this trunk's rotted. And I'm like, dude, I throw the toolbox on top of that hole. I've put boxes of merch going to our shows or going places. Like, that trunk is solid. It just got a little missing in it. It's good. Well, so he's like, well, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I said, okay, that's fine. I told her, I said, hey, go get the money. We're going to go to the parts store. So we followed him out in the car. I'm like, dude.
What is it? No, the trunk.
No,
what I say is rust is faster or lighter than carbon fiber,
Hey,
it's weight reduction.
It's weight reduction every time I drive it.
Exactly. Something falls off of it. I agree.
But so
I agree.
What is the favorite car in the fleet?
Well, so I love my twin turbo truck, but the Plymouth, I like the Plymouth body better, the way it looks. So honestly, I've thought about, because I like the motor in the truck, of course, it whistles, it blows fire, it does cool things, got 2 alternators. I tell everybody, I always play dumb. I'm like, I don't have a clue why it does that, but I thought about taking that motor out and putting it in the Plymouth once I get it, pretty far along, because basically all I like on it is doing the floor, bead rolling on my floor and stuff. I recently bought a CNC plasma table, Langmuir Systems, and so I'm going to cut some cool designs out and make them two-piece, put some space in there, make them lights up so my design light up in the floor. I can park at a show or at a gas station. My floor lights up, that designs in the floor and stuff. I think it'd be pretty, just one step over the top, because I like taking stuff over the top, as you can tell. But so probably the Plymouth, honestly, because I was wanting, when I found that car, I was looking for a Model A. I'm your stereotypical rat rodder. Everybody wants a Model A chopped. Everybody wants one. You see them everywhere. But I was like, I could find one, buy one, whatever. But it's like everybody's got one. You see them at every show. They're all chopped. They all got big back wheel. It's the same thing. So I was like, I'm going to find something different. Well, I ended up finding the Plymouth actually out of Georgia, pretty far down in Georgia. And he's like, it had an S10 frame with it. It had a 4.3 out of a boat that come with it. And I'm like, hey, dude, I don't want your 4.3. I don't want your S10 frame. I don't even want your fenders. I just want the whole, the body. You can keep your frame, your motor, and all. Which you had a daggum, just an old flathead, inline six. But I was like, I don't want nothing. I just want the whole. You can keep everything else. And he called me, and he's like, I was, in Alaska at the time when I found it. And he's like, I'll make you a killer deal on it all. And I was like, now I do like killer deals. And he was wanting like $3,200 for it. And he's like, how about $1,200 for it all? I was like, yeah, deal. I'll give you $1,200 for it. So we loaded my buddy's gooseneck up, and we hauled S10 frame, the daggum car. We had a 40-foot gooseneck full of just shit. Hey. I ended up buying some more parts while I was there. He's had some random stuff laying around. It's just, we had the gooseneck full. Yeah. And, but probably, like I said, probably the Plymouth. I like the way it looks. I love the body lines, how they curve around, go right down the back. But like I said, I'm doing it. I'm taking longer on it. Like on my motor mounts, for example, on the truck, I use square tube and just come straight up and went straight across. On the Plymouth, I bent 1 5/8 DOM tubing up at kind of a V and done the motor mounts at a V. Just make different designs, I made it right-hand drive just to be different, because everybody's like, why'd you do that? And I'm like, because you just asked me why.
That's exactly it. Yep.
Yeah. It's different, ain't it? Makes you look at it.
Yeah. So usually I ask unlimited budget, what car are you building? But I'm going to ask you, I'm going to change it up a little bit. We'll go back to that one. You got a pretty cool opportunity coming up. So tell us about the process of getting selected for that, and tell us what it is.
So, I was on Facebook, of course, like everybody, laid up in bed, and, SEMA popped up. It said Battle of the Builders. It had all these nice cars on it. Well, I was like, hell, I'm going to apply. I'm going to, shoot my shot. I'm a nobody. I'm Middle Tennessee nobody. Nobody knows me. I've got 23,000 followers on TikTok that thinks I'm funny. But other than that, nobody really important knows me. So I was like, hell, I'm going to apply. I'm going to shoot my shot. And so I applied. I went through the list, name, address, and all this stuff. And it said submit pictures of your, your previous builds or current build or whatever. Well, I paid to have professional pictures took of my truck. And from a good buddy of mine, he's got a little business. So I was like, hell, I'll support him. I want some good pictures of it. And I submitted them pictures of it, pictures of the front, kind of angle and whatever. And I got an email, days went by, I kind of forgot completely all about it. I was like, hell, they ain't going to say nothing. It's SEMA, it's, high-end stuff. I'm just an poor boy from Tennessee. And they sent me an email saying, you're accepted. We've accepted your Battle of the Builder. You need to find a vendor. So basically, I'm currently still looking for a vendor. So you got to have a vendor to park your car in, your Battle of the Builders car in. Okay. So I've been reaching out. You can look at the vendors list on SEMA website. So I've been reaching out to the people I've used and things I'm, I would like to use, so I've been like, I'd like to have a partnership or something like that. Well, I don't know, maybe a week later, something like that, a few days later, a week later, I got an email again. It was from a SEMA magazine editor and said, we're showcasing Battle of the Builders car. We love your build, and would you be interested in being in SEMA magazine? Write a description on your car or your truck, car/truck, or your 46. It said 46 3100, and tell us your mindset behind the build and stuff. And I kind of went through there and told them about it, and I'm waiting to hear back. I don't know if they email you back or whatever. They just put you in the magazine, but I wrote a description on it. Of course, I'm going to buy the thing, see if I'm in it.
Oh, and, of course.
I will be signing autographs. I'm kidding. It'll be worthless. They won't be worth the ink.
There's only 12 listeners of the podcast, but hey, somebody out there reach out to this man, get his truck at SEMA vendor. Come on, man.
Exactly. I've reached out to a few people that's going to be there, and I like US Will, things like that. They seem, they're interested. I showed them the email where I've confirmed, of course. So, they show and see I'm not bullshitting about it, but, hopefully everything works out. I mean, I get to take my rusty junk to Las Vegas. I think that'd be pretty cool. And like I said, me and No Name going out there and competing, with big people at huge budgets where I'm your average working class. I mean, I got off work today, and guess what? I got to do it tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
And the next, I'm your average person just out here,
so
building cool things.
Are you taking the truck, or are you building something specific for SEMA?
So hopefully, if they let me take the truck, I don't know if it has to be current build or it can be, it's already done, and then you take it like that. If the truck would go, because unfortunately, I don't think, I was working in Alaska, 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, oil field at the very tip-top Prudhoe Bay. So I had plenty of time. Well, now I drug that and started working local-ish. I mean, it's an hour drive, but
yeah.
And we're on a 5, 10, and 8 schedule. So after work, I'm dog tired, and I don't really feel like messing with nothing. I want to come in and eat dinner and go to bed. But so I'm really only got a day and a half. But granted, I don't like huge amounts. Like if I busted my ass, I could probably bust it out in a month. Cut my floor, bead roll my floor, do all my designs on the plasma table and things. But hopefully they let me take the truck. I mean, I'm gonna do some things to it, do things different, clean it up, make it a little nicer, things like that. Like my wire in the back, it could be way nicer. But I mean, I really don't care. I build it to drive it. Yeah, it works. I build it to drive it. So I mean, if I was going to take it to a show like that level, I would clean a lot of that stuff up. I would wire loom it. I've just got it zip tied together, and it's running like a harness, of course, but it's not wire loomed or nothing. But I would clean it up. I would do a lot of things, to next level, so to speak. But hopefully they let me take the truck. Because, like I said, I don't think I'm going to get the Plymouth done, unfortunately.
Have you ever been to SEMA?
I've never been to a show like that. So I've been to several, like cruising the coast, things like that, but never like a show of that level, so to speak. So, like I said, when I got accepted, for the battle, I'm like, holy cow, I cannot believe this. Me just, like I said, some no name. I was like, this is crazy. And I was over there telling my buddies about it. They don't have a damn clue about cars. My workers, the guys work with me, so they don't have a shit clue. They're like, oh, that's cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you not understand what this is? That's SEMA. So I'm over here Googling SEMA to show them, like, look, how many people, how Google pops up, like, how many people attend. I'm like, look how many people attend it. This is cool. They're like, heck yeah. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I care. It's like, hell yeah, that's cool.
No, and that's typical because, like, where I work, I'm like the crazy car guy that's got old shit and, pull up. Oh, it doesn't look like it'll make it home. And I'm like, yeah, it'll make it. And like when the road trip came about, they're like, oh, you're going to trailer your car? And I was like, no, I'm flying to Montana. I'm getting in a 55 custom Crown Vic or a Woody wagon and with the original flathead motor still and 3 on the tree. And we're going to go to Sandpoint, Idaho. And then we're going to hit the coast and we're going to go down the 101. And they're like, in the old cars? And I was like, yes, pulling campers too. Oh, no. I'm like, yeah. Well, what happens if you break down? We'll fix it. Well, what happened? That's part of it. That's
Funny.
The Cadillac. I mean, that was, I was going to take a Model A, and my wife, kind of the voice of reason, was like, "Hey, sure you want to do that? Like, small block and a turbo 350 on the interstate with no exhaust and 6.5 inches of chop, and where are we going to put luggage for the 16 days that we're going to be gone? And we also have to take merch to sell at the show to try to make money to make it home. Where are we going to put all that stuff?" And I was like, "I don't know, but this is what I have, so this is what I'm going to build, because I said I was going to be there, and we're going to make it that." And ended up, the Cadillac found me, and I was like, well, I really didn't want to make the Model A a custom anyway. The Cadillac kind of fits better, and I don't know, AC, power windows, tinted windows, radio, LS, so it'll get decent fuel mileage. Like, yeah, that sounds like a way better option than trying to strangle a truck down there, or a Model A down there.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
they get my truck, it gets uncomfortable. I drive it down the interstate and things. We'll drive it a couple towns over, but I mean, you might have to daggone pry me out of the damn thing when I get there, because it is not comfortable. I mean, it is not. Everybody's like, how does it ride? I said, well, ain't no damn Cadillac, sure. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, look at it. Tell me what you think.
Yeah,
how it rides. It rides about the way it looks. I mean, I've got little seat cushions about this wide. I mean, it's not the best.
What is a show or event that you try to make every year?
So it started last year, and I will continue to go to it. But locally, so people, if you knew my backstory, I used to be a police officer.
Okay.
So I'm real big into supporting brother cops and things like that. Well, we had a state trooper that got shot in our district. So we're District 6 in Tennessee, but he got shot on a traffic stop, and so last year we ended up raising like $20,000 for him, because now he's going through physical therapy and things. He was in a wheelchair, so we're trying to, we done a huge show for him, and that's a show now that I will go to continuously every year. This year they're raising money for kids for Christmas and things, but I think it's a good cause, and I'm putting a show on. I'm sure you've seen my flyers and stuff. I have a good friend. I've known him forever. He had stage 4 brain cancer 3 years ago, and they give him a month or two to live, and he beat it. He had brain surgery and everything. He beat it. Well, recently he fell back into it. His daughter found him had a seizure, and now, I went and seen him yesterday, and I honestly was surprised he made it through the night. He's going to pass away, but to top it off, he's got stage 4 brain cancer, like I said, and his 10-year-old daughter has bone cancer. Man, so, and then his wife's pregnant, and she's having a lot of complications. So I'm putting a show on. It's my first show I'm ever putting on. So I'm just faking it till I make it. I don't know how all this works. I've been to a bunch of them, but I've never been on that side of it, So we're putting a big charity show together. We've already raised quite a bit of money from local, businesses, things for somebody in the community. A lot of door prizes, silent auction things, just anything we can to raise money for this family. But like I said, I like the shows I don't miss, and ones for charity. I don't really like personally going to the ones that's for profit. Like I'm putting it on and I'm taking all the money. Yeah. I like the ones that really have a cause. That goes. But yeah, that's shows I try not to miss. I don't have one, like I said, one in particular. But
so what is the date and location of that show?
So it is going to be September 13th, and it is in Lake Tansy, Crossville, Tennessee. It's at Lake Tansy, okay. Lakeside Pavilion. They was nice enough donated to the venue. Kind of butt hurt me, but our local county, we have a complex, of course, where they have the fair and stuff. They wanted to charge us to raise money, or they wanted to charge us to let us use it to raise money for somebody in the community. That's, like I said, he's basically already dead. He's still breathing though, unfortunately. But they want to charge us, and I feel like if we're raising money for somebody in the community, but Lake Tansy was nice enough to donate the venue, so that's where the show is.
Well, do me a favor. After we get off of here, let's figure out how to get me the flyer, We'll share the shit out of it. Definitely want to support that. And I also, since you said that you like to come to shows that have a benefit, I'd like to welcome or invite you January 3rd. Our weather is better than your weather, I can guarantee it. Big Daddy Don Garlett's in Bellevue, Florida. It's going to be our second annual show, and this year it is benefiting Spreading the Love, Mr. Sean Rose Metalworks. His wife passed away from cancer, so all proceeds, I will not make a dime. I can guarantee it. My goal is to actually not make a dime. I just want to break even this year because it didn't last year. But if you need anything, it's January 3rd, Big Daddy Don Garlett's, The Hangout. I'll shoot you over information on it. But if you have any questions, concerns, or anything like that on how to go about the show, because what you're feeling right now is how we felt right now for last year.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. I mean, I'm constantly getting calls, like, because I don't want to overbook vendors. Like, I don't want to, like, if I book one barbecue truck, I don't want to book 3 more barbecue trucks. It's like overwhelming. So I've got like a notebook, and it's bad, but I can barely read my own damn writing. But I'm trying to write this stuff down, and then my mom, and I've got a lot of support helping me, and they're telling stuff, and I'm like, damn, you've got to let me know this so I can write this down. So, I know.
It's a lot, but
I like to visualize it.
It'll be worth it in the end, because, I mean, all the way up to morning of, we had a food truck cancel on us. And it kind of just, me and her had a conversation before we got in separate vehicles to head that way. And it was like, you know what? It's done. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Let's go have a good time. And it turned out to be a pretty good sized show. But I'll give you the details on our show later. We definitely, though, make sure that we end up with that flyer, because we'll share the shit out of it. We don't have the TikTok following that you do, but our Facebook and stuff our supporters on Facebook and stuff like that are amazing.
That's awesome, man. And I really appreciate that. Like I said, we've been talking about putting a show on for a long time. I call him my brother. He's a state trooper here. And, because when I was a police officer, I seen things that, that most people don't, especially when it comes, that's one thing that really bothered me, is when it's kids or elderly people,
Yes.
But, I've seen kids in real bad shape and stuff. And I would, buy toys and stuff out of my own pocket and give to these kids and stuff just to make sure they had things. But we was going to put one on for kids. They do a thing called Shop with Cop, basically it's counselor. I'm sure y'all
we got it down here too.
Okay. Yeah, we was going to raise money for that. But then, and we've kind of been procrastinating, we'll talk, we talk about it, but we never been about it, I guess, so to speak. But this come up, and, my mom called me because she works with this guy, and she's like, have you heard about Matt? And I was like, no. And she's like, his daughter found him had a seizure. They life flighted him out. And like I said, I went down there yesterday, and it really broke my heart, because his mom's like, I know what's right for him, but I don't want to, it's hard to tell the doctors, don't save my kid. She's like, I don't want to bring him back to this life, because, he's just laying there, So she's like, I just want to keep him comfortable until he passes. And it broke my heart, but, hopefully we have a good turnout, and good, because it's going to a good cause. But I feel like we're already going to have a pretty good turnout. I'm pretty known locally, because all us car people around here, all stick together. And everybody knows everybody, because we kind of live in a small area. So everybody will end up showing up, so.
Well, like I said, anything that we can do, obviously we can't make it up there, but we'll be there in spirit, and anything we can do on the front side or whatever, we'll try to make that as successful as possible, because I can definitely understand the, losing a buddy, and the mom's tough decision, because, you don't want them gone, but you also don't want them struggling or, feeling some type of way, so.
Yeah, for sure. And I really appreciate, the support, listening, because my old lady's probably sick of hearing it, because I'm like, golly, look at this, These people call me, or, I'm bad to text her because she works at a prison, so she don't have her phone. So somebody will call me, and I'll be on the phone with them. I'll be texting her, so I save the message of what they told me, so I remember it when I get home to write it down. So, but like I said, I mean, it's a lot, but it's going for a good cause. I think we're going to have a pretty good turnout. Luckily, fortunately, I guess you'd say. But
yeah, man.
Like I said, I appreciate y'all want to support, sharing the flyer, whatever.
Definitely, man. And that's the one thing that we hope to accomplish with this was, one, growing it, meeting people. This is episode 103, 102.
103 now. You're right.
Yeah, 103. And looking back, I was like, man, I've met some pretty awesome people that I would never have probably had the chance to run into, or got to talk to people that, and I get where you're coming from with, oh, you're just a nobody, man. That's not true. And I'm having to figure that out so you can learn it too. You're not a nobody. If you're doing what you're loving and you're loving what you're doing, man, you're not a nobody. People will recognize it, and people have started to recognize your stuff, man, and that's awesome.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I've learned, being in the car community and things, and meeting these people, because I tell everybody I run with this old man, and he's 80, and I mean, I tell everybody thinks he's my grandpa, and he's nothing to me. I just met him on the side of the road one day, and I run with him all the time. And hold on, I'm plugging my computer up here. She's about to die. But like I said, I run with this old man constantly. Like I said, I mean, and what's crazy is he's 80, and there's no telling where he's dangerous on Facebook Marketplace, to be honest. You're liable to call him at 3 o'clock in the morning, him in damn Michigan, him in Florida, him in that. Ain't no telling where he's dangerous. I mean, in a good way. But everybody thinks that he's my grandpa. But what I'm getting at is the car community, it don't matter if they're 80, they're 100, they're 20, they're all, he's give me parts, he's helped me, he's, done everything and never charges me a dime, and all these people I meet, I'm like, hey, I'm looking for this. And, they're like, oh, hell, so-and-so's got it. And then, you go over, hey, I need this, go take it off. We'll figure something out later. Don't worry about it. Go ahead. But everybody supports everybody, because we all have mutual, likings, so to speak. So
and they might come around looking for something that you're not using.
Exactly.
Them Plymouth fenders. Somebody out there wants them Plymouth fenders.
Exactly. I've got them sitting right here. If anybody ever needs, I've got a 39 Plymouth front clip, willing to donate to a good home. I mean, if not, I've got enough landscaping around here. Okay, I need to donate these to somebody that needs them. I've got rear fenders. I've got sideboards. I mean, a grill. I even got a daggum folding hood.
Hey,
come on! But I've already daggum took a bug. So my wife loves bugs.
Okay.
I hate Volkswagens, not because they're not good looking cars or whatever, because they're kind of ugly. But I had a rail buggy when I was a kid. It was like my first big dog purchase or whatever. I thought I was shitting in high cotton. I bought this rail buggy, and it was absolutely the funnest vehicle ever. I had the tractor brakes, whatever. I could spin that baby around. I done donuts everywhere. I thought I was cool. We could drive it all day, shut it off, have to work on a piece of shit, get it started back. So it kind of burnt me out on the Volkswagens. But anyhow, I bought a load of them from Georgia. I mean, I bought like 5 of them pieces of shits. And anyhow, I've got one out here I made a flower box into. I took the body off the pan. I've got a tree growing through the sunroof. I made a flower box. My wife loves it, but it just looks like shit in my front yard. Just single-handedly keeping the taxes low in the neighborhood.
Hey, but if Mama's happy, everybody happy.
Exactly. She went out there and painted our last names on the door. Made it look. I built, like I said, a little flower box. She'll plant flowers in it. In a little flower box, like flowers grow out the windows. And like I said, I planted a tree in the center of it because it's a sunroof bug, and I planted a tree in the center. So maybe when I turn about 70, the damn bug's 20 foot in the air with a tree sticking up in the air. That'd be pretty cool. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Hey, so what is one piece of advice that you would give someone trying to get into the car hobby?
go to shows, meet people. 97% of the people, I'm going to say 97 because there is some, unfortunately, that is cancer to the car culture. I mean, you all know them. I know them. You see them at shows. They're kind of stuck up pricks, in my opinion. They don't want to talk from their ego. Oh, yeah, I got this. Just go to car shows, meet people, because, like me, for example, I'm willing to explain everything. I mean, as you can see, I got a big burn on my wrist where I was explaining to Bucky's, a kid, how the turbo system works. And I was over there talking. I'm about to talk with my hands, as you can tell, but I was over there talking with my hands and stuck my damn wrist to exhaust. I mean,
It didn't take you long to inspect it, right?
No, it was pretty hot. I figured that real quick.
I bet it was.
I was just explaining to him. I was like, from here back is hot. And then I was like, well, the air comes through here and just donk my daggone wrist. I was like, yeah, that's hot. That's what I told you don't touch. But like I said, just go out and meet people, because, majority of people is willing to help, willing to share knowledge, whatever it takes. My wife gets aggravated at me. People be talking to me on Facebook, asking questions. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm helping this guy. I've met people, all over the United States, add me on Facebook, whatever, because, I'll post in groups in my truck and stuff, and they'll ask me questions about it. And I'm always willing to take the time to explain because I've been there. I've asked them questions, and people took the time to explain to me. Yep. So I always want to pay it forward. And, what kills a lot of the car culture is you see these people with these $100,000 cars, winning all these car shows. And don't get me wrong, I respect them because I know how much work it goes into it and what the car is. But it kills the car culture because, like, somebody, with a lower budget that can't afford that, whatever, is getting beat up on because his car's not as nice as, somebody's $100,000 Nova or whatever. But I think, they should have, my show, for example, I have different kind of awards. It's not just for the best of show. I have best patina, I have one. I told my buddy, I said, this isn't for you, but it's called the most likely not to make it home award. I mean, granted, I would win that all the time, but it's just keeping the lower budgets, in the spotlight, so to speak, because not everybody's got the money. And I get that because, fortunately I work a good job now, I make good money, whatever. And I have the ability to pay for this junk. And, not everybody does, I guess, or the knowledge. So I'm all the time welding stuff up for people, or whatever. Bring it over. Like, the guy bought some wheels from me. He's talking about doing an axe flip. And I said, hell, if you need the shoes welded on, bring it over. I'll weld the shoes on for you. And I wouldn't charge you nothing because I've been there. I've had people weld stuff for me, before I knew how or whatever, before I could do it. But so my biggest advice is, meet people, go out, just start. I mean, find you something you like, a car you like, or whatever, a truck, a car, a van, whatever, and just buy it and then just start a little at a time. Don't be too prideful to ask for help.
Yes.
Or get on that YouTube because everything's on YouTube nowadays. I've done it. I mean, look at me. I mean,
I still do it.
To be honest, I still do it. Yeah, exactly. I've been wanting to work on something. Like, how the hell do I work on that? I'll be on the YouTube, But don't be too prideful to ask, because everybody's willing to share knowledge. Majority of people's willing to share the knowledge. I shouldn't say everybody because there is some, unfortunately, in this cancer car cultures.
But
unfortunately, it's a lot of your own guys.
Yeah, it is. But fortunately for every one of them, or what we've noticed here lately anyway, for every one of them, there's 4 or 5 of us that are willing to take the time to not be, I spent all that money. It's obviously a nice car. But so is there anyone, before I run through our list of advertisers, is there anybody that you'd like to send a thank you to or a shout out or anything like that?
I mean, we could go all night of people I could say special thank yous to. I mean, I'll be honest, because I've had a lot of help in my day, people helping me, giving me stuff, parts, knowledge, willing to take the time to show me these things and build things for me. I'm friends with plasma cutters before I bought one, and just the other day, I mean, he was on the screen share with me, showing me how to use my damn plasma cutter, So I go on, but I just special thank you to everybody that's ever helped me, and people that supported me. My wife, is a true one, because I bring this shit home, and it looks like scrap metal. But she's like, "What are you gonna do with that piece of shit?" And I'm like, "Well, honey, I'm gonna do this." But she never doubts it. She knows it'll either be, I'll sell it, or I'll do something with it. So she never doubts me. So that's probably my number one supporter, honestly. And
that
just
always
everybody
makes it easier.
It does. And she hates helping me. Just a real fast story on that. I bought a 53 Chevrolet. I knew it was firing. I just started it. It had an inline six. I drug it out of a barn. Had 40 years of dust on it. So I knew it run. But I got her out there. I wanted to teach her a lesson. So I stuck a screwdriver in the coil pack wire. And I said, make sure to hold the metal. Make sure and hold it right there, see if it's fired. I lit her ass up. So she's real gun-shy on helping me. But I taught her a lesson. She still cusses me for it.
Ashley doesn't do fabrication. If we're changing parts or it's a straightforward something, she's all about it. Maintenance, stuff like that. But hey, I need to make that fit there, somehow over there. She's like, I'll sit out here with you. I'll bring you a twisted every once in a while. What do you need? But that part of it, she's not up to. But the caddy, she's loving the caddy because it came as like a complete car. So she can actually see what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It ain't 47 pieces like my stuff. But yeah, that'd be a cool, fun car for y'all, to grow, Hot Rod Hangout podcast, and, y'all's, life together. It'd be a cool car and share adventures together, making them road trips. Because, them road trips are fun. I've done them. Fun. And it's just something you'll get back on. One day you'll be laying on your deathbed and be like, you remember that trip we drove that piece of shit all the way to California?
Yeah.
It's 1,000 wonders we made it, or whatever. It's just something to look back on life. So, take the trips and things like that.
So make sure you go show all of our awesome supporters and advertisers. Why Not Fab, Throttle Addict, use code word Hot Rod to get save 15% off. Johnny Jalopy, Low Income Clothing, Wrenching for the Future. And a big shout out to Psycho Fab. Can't wait to see what he does on my roof. Also, a little bit about the Hangout. January 3rd, Big Daddy Don Garlett's The Hangout, our second anniversary show. All years welcome. We are doing 4 trophies. Our pick doesn't necessarily have to be the best car there. Has to be the best car with the best story. Lady owned, that'll be Ashley's pick. Club participation. If you're a club, get with me. We'll give you a discount if you have more than 5 cars. And longest distance driven. Word on the street is Gasser Garage is probably not bringing something cool this year, so everybody's got a shot to win that award. Till next time, guys. Well, first of all, thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Till next time, guys, get out and drive a shit.
See ya.
Later.